reason why I love the term whole person care, even over holistic and things like that, is because there's something that happens when you take care of all of you like that, where you feel like you like sigh into a healing process and you're not fighting and fighting and fighting. One of the things that I think is super important, and part of the reason I include neurology in a way that I don't need, that other people don't need to really understand the nuances of it, as long as they're using it, is we create what I call a wave, because like we have brain waves, so I think I'm funny. But if you're surfing on a wave in the ocean and you fight against that wave, you go under, right? Like, I mean, even if you don't surf, like that concept is clear. But if you ride the wave, you're able to surf on it, and almost like you're defying gravity, right? It's this really cool thing that happens. And our brains need certain things, and our bodies need certain things, and our spirits need certain things. And those certain things, most of them can be done in self-care. Most of them can. And what can't, that's what we have licensed professionals for. And so it's beginning the process of saying, how do I create this wave? How do I ride this wave so that when I go into my therapy appointment or my doctor appointment, I know what questions to ask? I'm not replacing my doctors and my licensed people. I'm choosing them carefully, choosing people I trust, and then I'm learning to trust and listen to me so that I can go back to the people who have this specialty that I don't have, and I can say, here's what I've learned. Tell me what it means. And it's just phenomenal. That wave is how you get from A. You create this wave and you just ride it through. It doesn't have to be absurdly difficult. It can be some days. Some days it's really hard. Some days you're like, and pulling the blanket over my head. Let's start again tomorrow.
That really is clarifying. And that also transitions very smoothly into my next question, which is, and I think there's an important distinction to be made here. How is whole self-wellness and the wellness coaching different from therapy?
Oh, thank you for asking that question. That is a super important question. And I will say that down the road, I actually hope to offer therapy. But for the most part, what I want to do is I want to partner with licensed professionals. So if you're a licensed professional, you're curious about what we do, I have material for you to look at with all the nerdy words, because I want you to say, wow, my patients can have increased health outcomes if I send them here and they work on self-care. We don't do therapy. We do not, as of yet, we do coaching. So your question, we differentiate very, very clearly. Therapy is about the hard thing that happened when you were little, and it's about pulling that out, right? Or it's about that car accident. It's about, I'm a veteran and I was at war. We don't deal with that therapy, right? Where you purge these things that your mind and your body are holding on to. We help you do self-care. We help you see yourself in a different way and start to make small changes in your everyday life and set goals for the future. I loved the coach training that I went through because they talked about how therapy is very past oriented. A lot of times it really is, but there can be trauma in the moment. But those deep entrenched feelings and emotions, that's therapy. And if we see things in our groups that look like therapy, we're gonna really strongly encourage you to consider whether you should add that licensed professional to your care team or not, because that's their specialty. We don't step on those toes. So this is about goals. This is about daily actions. This is about future. This is about what do you want in your life and what steps can you start taking to do that. And if you can do that in a way that lines up with what you're doing in therapy, for example, if you are working with a therapist on childhood trauma, and your goal is, I want to have healthier relationships with my family. Whoa. And then if you can pair that with our healing library, where we talk about connection and making choices in the moment that are aligned with my future, that is a powerful trifecta. Powerful trifecta. So we teach you how to go through those steps and how to set goals that you feel like you can achieve based on neurology. My understanding of neurology.
Oh, that's excellent. That's excellent. So my last question that I have is for somebody who, in general terms, wants to begin that healing process, that self-care process, but has no idea where to begin. Like, what are some first steps that somebody would take?
Yeah, I love that. Is it too cliche to say call us? Call us, because that's literally what we do. That's why we're here. That's why we exist. That's why we have a free coaching call, is because we want to give you those first steps. But also, I mentioned earlier that spiritual self-care is critical. It's really, really critical. There's the people call, some people call it instinct, some people call it spiritual, some people call it revelation. So like everybody uses different terms. But if you can begin to do things that help you feel peace, help you feel calm, help you feel connected, those are really, really powerful. They help to regulate your nervous system. They help you to regulate your emotions, and they help you to see the next right step, as Carl Jung said. And I know Disney did a song that partnered with that, the next right thing, I think they called it, which I love that song. But Carl Jung is attributed with saying the next right step. And it's about saying, where am I right now? Like an address. And where do I want to go? Another address. I'm going to plug those into a GPS, and I'm just going to start taking steps. Take messy action. Don't expect to do it perfectly immediately. Just be okay with it looking like a hot mess for a while. For a long while. Like I joke about doing archer push-ups and how much I want to do handstand push-ups. I fell almost on my face the other day, because just because I want to do it doesn't mean I'm doing it well yet. But I can. I just have to look at, okay, what are the steps? What step am I on? Okay, here's my address. Handstand push-up is the metaphorical address where I want to be. What step is next? So, and the reason I say call us is because I do all the nerdy things to help you break it down. That's literally one of the things that I do that I'm so excited to bring to the world, is how do we set, I call them Goldilocks goals. I set Goldilocks goals. They're not too hard. They're not too easy. They're just right. And we need those, it's zone of optimal, blah, 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 right? Like, I don't even remember the terminology because my brain's like, it's not important. But there's like this optimal zone. So think of it like a circle and another circle, right? So inside of that first circle, way too easy. You're not really stretching. Inside of, or outside of that big circle, way too hard. You can injure yourself, and not sustainable. And in here, not going to change anything. And so there's like this sweet spot in between, just right spot, where you can start to make movement. Yeah, it's about stretching yourself just enough.
I really like that, especially you're talking about fitness, of course, and you're mentioning doing stretches. And I someone like me, I'm not going to be doing any of those fancy push-ups at all, but it would be a lot more sustainable for me to do like a wall push-up or something like that instead, and just start there. Maybe even just like one or two, and then over months or however long it took, I could start doing regular push-ups, or what did you call them? Archery push-ups?
Archer, yeah.
Archer push-ups. Those sound so intense, but also so fun.
They're so fun. And I like
Mhm.
pistol squats and I like all the fun. I like
Mhm.
to do these things. So that's an important piece of this. Like if somebody's going
Mhm.
to hear my story, please don't be intimidated by the fact that I like these things. I'm working on these things because I like them. You don't have to do these things.
Yeah. And
You
you
really
didn't you
don't.
didn't you didn't
And I
start
didn't
there.
start here. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I didn't start here. I started by not being like, my family had to roll me out of bed. I could not get myself out of bed because my spine would lock. That's a heck of a transition, but I wanted to do that. That was my goal that I set for myself, and I set out working on it, and it's been progressive, and I've found things along the way. I've found specialists that have had answers for me. I've found studies that have had answers for me. I've found practices and self-care things that have helped me along the way. And it's been 7 years. It's been aggressive. It's been a very aggressive 7 years. Most people don't have a story like that. That's okay. But that was mine. And I wanted to be aggressive because I wanted this, right? So your story gets to be yours. Your goal gets to be yours. What do you want to experience in your life? What do you want to improve?
That's a really important distinction. What do you want? Maybe that's one of the first steps right there, is just identifying, okay, well, I want this. And then figuring out, okay, well, what little things can I do right now that'll start building stairs or building blocks that I can climb on to get closer and closer to that thing that I want. So that's great.
Yeah. And yeah, it's that Goldilocks thing, but it's also what kind of goals win? What kind of goals make me feel motivated? What kind of goals get me there? And how can I have grace for when I'm like, ooh, today I'm not having it, you know?
Mhm.
Or how can I stop and celebrate when I'm like, yeah, I rocked it today. It was messy. I may or may not have fallen on my face, but I did it. That's all that matters. You like really celebrate that. Powerful.
Boy, I love talking to you and picking your brain because it's it's there's so much stuff you say that just resonates with me so strongly, but it's not stuff that I hear very often out and about. So
Yeah,
I
that's
really
why I
appreciate
say that I
that.
had to dig for it because I
Mhm.
did. I dug
Yeah.
for it. I mean, the process that we use for setting goals is something I got from real estate and business. I didn't get it from medicine or psychology. And so I've like pulled things from all over. It's multiple disciplines, all kinds of stuff. I've pulled information and studies and things to compile this. I actually just finished a project with a professor, a mentor professor, and she was like, "Could you slow down? Holy cow, this is coming so fast!" And I'm like, "I know, but people have to have this. They have to know this. They have." I'm just so motivated and excited to bring you all this stuff, and the foundation I've been building for like almost 10 years now, but the collection and the presentation of it and the healing library and all the things, that's new, and I'm like, I can't get there fast enough. I want y'all to have this, not have to dig for it. It's in lots of different disciplines. You can't find one study that just tells you all these things. I think that's one of the things that we do so well, actually, is you can get a one-off coaching here or a one-off thing there, right? Like some people, they specialize in diet. Some people specialize in exercise. Some people specialize in goals. Some people specialize in shifting your mindset. What's cool about your whole self, like working on your whole self, is we actually bring you all of those things under one house, and we let you be in charge of what that looks like, while partnering with your care team, the licensed professionals who've gone to years and years of school, and you bring it into them and say, "This is what I'm thinking." It's powerful, and it's in one place, which is really cool that we do those things, I think.
Yeah. No, it is. That's fantastic. You've brought all of these great resources together so that people don't have to do the the digging that you described, right? Where they're just looking all over trying to find answers, and it's all here. It's just right here. So
yeah, and I think when we think about helping people improve and helping people be healthy, there's this idea that I need to make this new device or I need to invent this new thing. And I think we overcomplicate it. Like even in real estate, I would talk to people about buying houses and they're like, oh, I have this huge spreadsheet of all these different things. And I'm like, wow, that's very detailed. And they're like, but how do you do it? I add like 5 things because there were only 5 things that were important. And all the other things that they had listed separately actually fell under specific categories. And I think we overcomplicate the process. And people, like one guy was like, I invented all this cool medical tech. And I'm like, that's awesome. But I know that I would not feel like I could afford it if I already had a therapist and a doctor and a couple specialists. And that's wonderful. And I'm so glad that it works. And maybe somebody will be listening to this video and they're like, oh, that's exactly what I need. I need that medical tech. But when they start to do the self-care, they know that that's the thing they need rather than buying this coaching and this therapy and that therapy. Now I've got 5 specialists in, and now I have all this tech, and I have this tech, and this tech, and this tech, and this tech, and they're just like collecting all these different things that only do one thing. You know what I'm saying? And it may not even be the right thing because they're trying everything to feel better. But the most powerful thing you can do to feel better is to listen to yourself